Why reading is important. Lily stared at the English novel, a knot of frustration tightening in her stomach. She understood every word on the page, the intricate plot, the nuanced characters. Yet, when she tried to voice her thoughts, the words dissolved into a jumbled mess. I understand English, she'd lament, but I just can't speak well. This silent struggle consumed her, making every interaction daunting and every opportunity to connect feel out of reach. Her mind was a vibrant library of English knowledge, stocked with grammar rules and extensive vocabulary. However, it felt like a library with locked doors, preventing the spoken word from escaping into the real world. She longed to articulate her thoughts, to join conversations effortlessly, but a persistent barrier always seemed to hold her back. This gap between understanding and speaking was deeply disheartening. One evening, scrolling through language learning forums, she stumbled upon a simple yet profound statement: why reading is important. It wasn't just about comprehension. It was about internalizing sentence structures, rhythm, and natural expression patterns. The advice emphasized that consistent exposure to written English builds a strong foundation for truly fluent speech. This perspective sparked a tiny flicker of hope within her. The article further explained that reading aloud, even quietly to oneself, bridges the gap between passive understanding and active production. It trains the mouth and brain to work together, forming sounds and connecting words smoothly. Reading is so important, the expert wrote, because it subtly reprograms your linguistic patterns, preparing you for natural conversation flows. Lily felt a significant shift in her approach. Inspired, Lily decided to embark on a new, manageable regimen. The advice stressed not to overwhelm oneself, suggesting a modest beginning. Talk in English just 1 page per day. This simple, achievable goal seemed less daunting than her previous attempts to master everything at once. It offered a clear, daily step forward, fostering a sense of progress immediately. Every morning, she picked up her favorite English novel. She didn't race through it. Instead, she savored each sentence, reading slowly and carefully, often aloud. This ritual, just 1 page per day, became her sacred time for quiet, immersive practice. It was surprising how quickly 1 page accumulated, transforming into chapters, then entire books, steadily building her linguistic reservoir and confidence. As she read, she inevitably encountered countless new words. The challenge then became how to remember words. Merely looking them up in a dictionary wasn't enough for lasting retention. She began using a simple notebook, jotting down unfamiliar vocabulary along with their full sentences and contexts. This active engagement helped immensely, creating stronger, more meaningful connections in her memory. She also started associating new words with images, personal experiences, or even silly rhymes, techniques recommended for better retention. Repetition was key, but not just rote memorization. Instead, she'd revisit her word list daily, actively trying to use the words in simple, original sentences. This deliberate practice of how to remember words transformed passive recognition into active, confident recall. The next crucial step in her learning journey was implementing the principle of listen and practice. She realized that merely consuming English content passively wasn't enough. Active, focused listening was absolutely vital for developing natural speech patterns. She started with podcasts on topics she genuinely enjoyed, focusing not just on meaning, but also on intonation, rhythm, and natural pauses. Each day, during her commute or while doing household chores, she immersed herself in English audio. She didn't just listen, she practiced shadowing, repeating sentences immediately after the native speaker. This listen and practice method was challenging initially, requiring great concentration, but it rapidly trained her mouth muscles and improved her pronunciation significantly, paving the way for more fluid speech. She diversified her listening sources, moving from podcasts to English movies and TV shows, always with the active listening goal in mind. She would pause frequently, repeating intriguing phrases or difficult sentences, breaking them down. This consistent exposure and active engagement with spoken English deeply ingrained the sounds and flow, making her more comfortable with real-world language. After several weeks of dedicated reading and listening, Lily noticed a subtle but definite change. Her understanding deepened, and she could often predict the next word or phrase in a sentence, both written and spoken. Yet, the speaking barrier remained. She understood much, but she still couldn't talk in English with the ease she craved. This was where the advice on English talking practice became paramount. The fear of making mistakes had always silenced her, but she knew she had to push past it. The articles emphasized that speaking, even imperfectly, was the only true path to fluency. She needed to transform her passive knowledge into active, spontaneous communication. Lily understood that genuine English talking practice meant more than just talking to herself. It required interaction, real-time feedback, and the unpredictable nature of actual conversation. She began searching for opportunities, feeling a mix of apprehension and determination. This was the moment to apply everything she had learned so far into practical use. The solution presented itself in the form of online language exchange platforms. The concept of how to talk to people in pairs immediately appealed to her. It offered a low-pressure environment where both participants were learning, fostering a sense of mutual support rather than judgment. This seemed like the ideal starting point for her speaking journey. Her first few conversations were awkward, filled with long pauses and hesitant words. Her tongue felt heavy, her mind racing to find the right vocabulary and grammar. How to talk in English felt like an impossible puzzle. Yet, her partners were patient and encouraging, reminding her that everyone starts somewhere, and mistakes are simply stepping stones to progress. She focused on small victories. If she managed to convey a simple idea, she celebrated. If she used a new word she had learned from her reading, it felt like a triumph. The key was showing up consistently, embracing the discomfort, and reminding herself, "I understand English, but I can't speak well yet." She dedicated specific times each week for English talking practice with her partners. Sometimes they would discuss current events, other times they would describe their daily routines, or even role-play scenarios. Each session was a micro-training ground for her speaking muscles, building stamina and confidence slowly but surely. To make her pair conversations more effective, she applied her how to remember word strategies during and after discussions. If she struggled to recall a word, she'd note it down and review it later, ensuring that next time it would flow more naturally from her lips. This integrated approach accelerated her progress significantly. The impact of her consistent listen and practice routine also became evident in her conversations. She found herself understanding her partners more easily, picking up on their intonation, and even anticipating their responses. Her listening skills, honed through hours of dedicated audio immersion, made her a better, more responsive speaker. Lily began noticing that her silent reading habit, just one page per day, was quietly fueling her spoken fluency. The sentence structures she absorbed from novels started naturally appearing in her conversations. The varied vocabulary she encountered gave her more options, allowing her to express herself with greater precision and nuance. The transformation was gradual, almost imperceptible day by day, but undeniable over weeks and months. The tight knot of frustration in her stomach began to loosen. The fear of speaking, while not entirely gone, diminished significantly, replaced by a growing sense of excitement and possibility. She was truly beginning to talk in English. Her confidence soared when she realized she could hold longer conversations without panicking. The flow of words felt less forced, more organic. She was no longer just responding. She was initiating, asking questions, and even debating, something she never thought possible when she felt, "I understand English, but I can't speak well." The core principle, why reading is important, proved profoundly true. Reading had filled her mental reservoir, providing the linguistic raw material. Listening had fine-tuned her ear and pronunciation. But it was the consistent English talking practice that sculpted this material into coherent, confident, and conversational speech. She began to share her journey with others who struggled similarly. She emphasized that fluency wasn't about innate talent, but about consistent, targeted effort. How to learn English became less of a mystery and more of a practical, achievable journey for anyone willing to put in the daily work. Her advice always started with the basics. Why reading is important was her first point, highlighting its foundational role in building vocabulary and grammatical intuition. She stressed that reading wasn't just for comprehension, but for internalizing the very rhythm and structure of the language itself, a critical step for speaking. Then, she'd recommend starting small. Talk in English just one page per day. This achievable habit built consistency without overwhelming the learner. It proved that small, daily actions accumulate into significant progress over time, making the journey less intimidating and far more sustainable for long-term success. For vocabulary, she shared her method for how to remember words, advocating for contextual learning, active recall, and personal association. She explained that simply memorizing lists was inefficient. True retention came from actively using the words in sentences and connecting them to personal meaning, making them stick. The importance of listen and practice was her next key point. She demonstrated how active listening, combined with shadowing, dramatically improved pronunciation and intonation. She encouraged learners to immerse themselves in English audio daily, even for short periods, emphasizing quality of listening over mere quantity of exposure. Finally, she arrived at the crucial stage, English talking practice. She acknowledged the fear, but stressed the necessity of pushing through it. She advised seeking out low-pressure environments, like language exchange partners, to begin the process of converting passive understanding into active, spontaneous speech, however imperfectly. She especially championed the idea of how to talk to people in pairs, highlighting its unique benefits. It provided a safe space for experimentation, immediate feedback, and the chance to overcome speaking anxiety collaboratively. Finding a compatible partner transformed daunting practice into an enjoyable, shared learning experience for both. Lily herself continued her routine diligently. Every morning, her one page of reading provided mental nourishment. Her daily listening cultivated her ear and refined her accent. And her regular sessions with her speaking partners kept her actively engaged in the process of how to talk in English, refining her conversational skills. She often reflected on her initial despair when she would say, "I understand English, but I can't speak well." That phrase, once a painful self-assessment, now served as a testament to her journey. She understood that speaking was a separate skill, requiring its own dedicated practice, distinct from pure comprehension. The shift from understanding to speaking felt like unlocking a new dimension. Conversations that once terrified her now brought joy. She could express her humor, share her opinions, and connect with people from different cultures on a deeper level, all thanks to her perseverance and strategic approach to learning. Her advice for how to learn English became a mantra: read consistently, listen actively, remember words effectively, and practice speaking relentlessly. It was a holistic approach where each component reinforced the others, creating a powerful synergy that propelled learners toward their fluency goals with steady momentum. Lily's journey was a powerful testament to the idea that consistent, daily effort, no matter how small, leads to significant long-term results. The cumulative effect of just one page per day of reading, combined with diligent listening and speaking practice, was truly astonishing in its transformative power for anyone. She vividly recalled the moments of frustration, the tongue-tied pauses, the silent battles within her own mind. But each time, she remembered the core reasons why reading is important and why active speaking was non-negotiable for true mastery. This drove her forward, even on days when motivation waned. Her improved ability to how to talk in English opened up new professional opportunities and personal friendships. She could confidently participate in international meetings, travel more freely, and engage in spontaneous conversations without the looming fear of embarrassment or misunderstanding. The world felt much larger and more accessible. The method for how to remember words had been particularly effective. By connecting new vocabulary to real-life situations and emotions, they became embedded in her long-term memory, readily available during conversations. This active engagement was far superior to passive memorization, making her vocabulary truly functional. She often found herself encouraging others to embrace English talking practice from day one, even if it meant making many mistakes. The initial awkwardness was a small price to pay for the eventual freedom of expression. Learning to speak was a performance art, best learned by doing, not just observing. The technique of how to talk to people in pairs had been her personal breakthrough. The shared vulnerability and mutual encouragement provided an unparalleled learning environment. It shifted her perspective from "I can't speak well" to "I am learning to speak well," a crucial mindset change for sustained progress. Lily's story demonstrated that anyone could learn how to learn English effectively, regardless of their starting point. The process wasn't mystical. It was a disciplined application of proven techniques, consistent exposure, active practice, and courageous engagement with the language in its spoken form daily. She reflected on the myriad benefits of her journey, far beyond just speaking proficiency. Her confidence had grown, her problem-solving skills sharpened, and her global perspective broadened significantly. Learning English had been a transformative experience, affecting every aspect of her life in profoundly positive ways. Her advocacy for why reading is so important stemmed from personal experience. It laid the groundwork for everything else, providing the grammatical skeleton and lexical richness that listening and speaking built upon. Without a solid reading foundation, her speaking attempts would have remained rudimentary and unrefined. The gradual improvement from her just 1 page per day commitment was a constant source of quiet pride. It was a testament to the power of micro-habits, proving that even the smallest, most consistent efforts compound into remarkable achievements over time, making fluency an attainable reality. Her mastery of how to remember words meant she rarely felt stuck for vocabulary during conversations. The words flowed more naturally, reducing her cognitive load and allowing her to focus more on expressing complex ideas rather than searching for basic terminology, enhancing fluency and spontaneity considerably. Listen and practice remained a cornerstone of her daily routine. Even when she felt proficient, she continued to listen actively to various accents and speech patterns, further refining her understanding and maintaining her high level of receptive skills, ensuring she stayed sharp and adaptable. And of course, the ongoing English talking practice was non-negotiable. She still sought out opportunities for conversations, knowing that continuous application was key to maintaining and further enhancing her fluency. Speaking was a skill that, like any other, improved with consistent, deliberate usage and focused effort. Lily's transformation from "I understand English, but I can't speak well" to a confident, articulate speaker was complete. It was a journey of dedication, persistence, and intelligent application of effective learning strategies, proving that speaking fluency is entirely within reach for those committed to the process. She often concluded her talks by saying, "If I can do it, so can you." Her story served as an empowering narrative for countless aspiring English speakers, offering a clear roadmap and inspiring them to embark on their own transformative journeys toward confident, fluid communication in English. The initial phrase, "how to learn English," once a daunting question, had evolved into a series of actionable steps. It wasn't about a single secret, but a blend of consistent habits and a willingness to step outside one's comfort zone, embracing the learning curve with determination and resilience. Lily's final message was always about embracing the journey, celebrating small wins, and understanding that fluency is a continuous process, not a final destination. Every single conversation, every word remembered, every page read, contributed to the grand tapestry of her linguistic mastery, a true labor of love. She lived proof that consistent English talking practice was the ultimate key. Reading built the foundation, listening refined the ear, and remembering words stocked the arsenal. But only through the brave act of speaking, often imperfectly, did the bridge between understanding and confident expression truly get forged and solidified. Her personal triumph became a beacon of hope. No longer was she silently frustrated. She was a fluent communicator, effortlessly navigating conversations, expressing complex ideas, and truly connecting with the global community. Her English journey was a testament to perseverance and the power of focused, daily habits. And so, Lily, once plagued by her inability to speak, became a living example of how to talk in English. Her story resonated, inspiring others to believe that their voice, too, could be unlocked, transforming their understanding into articulate, confident, and joyful spoken communication, one dedicated step at a time.